Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Reviews Stuff. And today, yes, is another movie review. I promise tomorrow will not be a movie review. I'm caught up on all of my movie reviews for the week, so until I see another movie, there won't be another review of a movie. Last night, my husband and I, we watched The Snowman, which was the film adaptation of Joe Nesbo's novel. And it was with Michael Fassbender and Val Kilmer and Chloe Sevigny, and it was fantastic. It was so much more than I thought it was going to be. So it was a movie that I wanted to see for a long time. But today is a review of Dumplin. And Dumplin is a movie that came out on Netflix. It is also running concurrently, I think, in movie theaters, or it's about to be released in movie theaters. And it is based on the 2015 book, Dumplin, Go Big or Go Home by Julie Murphy. This was one of my favorite books of 2016 on my BookTube channel. I have talked about it endlessly on my BookTube channel, and I love this story so much. I love the characters, I love the plot, I love everything about it, and so when I found out that it was being made into a movie, I was so excited. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler review. It's going to be a lot of a spoiler review. It's really hard for me to talk about this movie without talking about the things that I loved in it. I still think that if I talk about some of these things and you haven't seen the movie, it won't ruin it for you because I'll be talking about them out of context. I thought the movie was so fantastically done. And if you've watched my BookTube channel for a long time, you know my all-time favorite book and movie of life is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, and I love the movie adaptation of that. I would say next to Kill a Mockingbird, and this is, it's a hard contest, okay? Dumplin is my next favorite book to movie adaptation. I thought it was so fantastic. I thought it was so well done. I thought it stuck to the core idea of the novel so well. And as somebody that is an avid reader, that's really, really important to me. But I also thought that it really encompassed the character of Willow Dean, who is Dumplin. So let me read to you what this movie is about if you haven't heard anything about it and you don't know anything about it. Willow Dean, Dumplin, the plus-size teenage daughter of a former beauty queen, signs up for her mom's Miss Teen Bluebonnet pageant as a protest that escalates when other contestants follow her footsteps, revolutionizing the pageant in their small Texas town. And it's interesting that it explains it that way, because I think that one of the things that was kind of missed in the movie is that it really was this kind of revolution against the beauty pageant idea. They kind of talk a little bit about it, but not as much as they talk about it in the book. And in the book, the girls that become this group of kind of like revolutionaries against the beauty pageant, it's really about their friendship. And I will say this, that for me, I loved Danielle McDonald, who played Willow Dean, Dumplin. I thought she was absolutely fantastic. I didn't know anything about her before seeing this movie. She's also in Bird Box, and I just did my Bird Box review. I thought she was so well cast as Dumplin. I thought she did such a fantastic job. I also thought, and I am not a huge Jennifer Aniston fan by any means, I thought Jennifer Aniston as Willow Dean's mother was unbelievable. And I just thought she did such a fantastic job. I was so impressed with so many things. I don't even know where to start. I was so impressed with so many things about this movie. But I'm taking off my shoes because I gotta get relaxed for a review, you know what I mean? But I will say for me, out of all of it, okay, that the one standout character for me, this is really, really interesting, and I'm kind of believing that they cast her very specifically for a certain reason, is Maddie Valeo. I think I'm pronouncing her last name right, who played Millie Millichuk in the movie. And in the book, she's important, but she's not as important as she is in the movie. And the reason why I'm wondering if they didn't like make her a really profound character in the movie is because Julie Murphy's next book that came, well, she actually had a book in between, but the spinoff from Dumplin is called Puddin', and Puddin' is Millie Millichuk, who is played by Maddie Valeo. She was so good in this movie that I watched it and I thought I would love to see a movie just about her. She's really the character that changes throughout the course of the whole movie. I mean, Dumplin does too, but Millie really like embraces herself and changes throughout the course of the novel and well, throughout the course of the movie. She does in the novel as well. but not as much as you see her in the movie. And I just thought that this Maddie Valeo was so fantastic. She was in Hairspray Live. She played Tracy in Hairspray Live, and I just thought she was so good, and I was so excited every time that she was in the movie, especially at the pageant. I mean, she just is the character that comes full circle, and her mom does too, and I loved everything about her in this movie. I also have to say that the best friend who played Ellen in the movie, she has a more prominent role in the book, and I would have kind of liked to have seen that played out a little bit more in the movie, because I think it spoke more of Willow Dean's character. And the thing that's really interesting to me about this, and you know, you only have 2 hours with a movie, whereas you have, you know what, 300-400 pages in a book. But one of the things that was really interesting to me was that Dumplin in the book, it comes across as very nasty at times. I mean, she's really rude to a lot of people. And that was one of the things that I really loved about the book, was that I thought it was so true to life. You know, that like nobody is perfect, nobody's nice all the time. And the one person in her life that had really kind of shown her, you know, what to be a good person or a person of character was about was her aunt. And the way that the aunt was portrayed in this movie through flashbacks and also the finding of the, you know, the pen and things like that that she gives her mother at the end of the movie, I was tearing up through this entire, I mean, the movie was so fantastically done. And I thought it was, I don't know, it was so good. It was so much more than I expected, honestly. You know, I follow Julie Murphy, the author, on Twitter, and I follow Dolly Parton, who all the music is by Dolly Parton, and I've loved Dolly Parton since I was a kid. I was raised on that music. 9 to 5 is one of my all-time favorite movies, and so when I found out that she was doing all the music for this, I was so excited. Now, I will tell you the one thing that I'm a little upset about is that okay, so if you haven't seen the movie, the talent scene that Willow Dean does with a remix of Here You Come Again is so fantastic, but you can't buy it on iTunes. You can only get it on Apple Music, and I'm like, why is this not on iTunes? Like, why can't I buy this song? So that's my only thing that I don't like about the music, but the rest of the music is fantastic. And Dolly Parton and Sia do the theme song for the movie. It just is so good. And one of the things that I loved was that they kind of brought back some of Dolly's music that I think you don't normally think of. I mean, yes, Jolene is in the movie, but it's not like her typical songs that you would think of. There's a lot of songs in there that I don't think, unless you're a diehard Dolly Parton fan, that you would associate with the music, which is, I think, brings Dolly Parton as a character as part of this book or movie as well. This is like a book two, movie two. I just can't keep the two separate, but I loved them both so much that they just intertwine for me. And I think that's why it's such a fantastic book to movie adaptation. And I think it will get nominated for an Oscar for that as well. Is because when you truly read a book and then you see the character come alive in the movie, and it just seems so real, and Willow Dean seemed so real to me in this movie. It was so beautifully done. I thought it was so beautifully shot, the places that it was done. The thing about so they are trained by drag queens at this drag bar, who they find out later was friends with their aunt. And Ginger Minj from RuPaul's Drag Race is a huge part of the movie, and she's so fantastic in it. I actually wish they would have given her more time. I thought she did so well in the movie. And, you know, and it was an interesting pick, you know, with all of the famous drag queens that are out there right now, that they picked Ginger Minj, and I thought she was perfect for the role. I thought she was absolutely perfect. And I didn't really know how that was going to play out and in the movie, like how they were going to do it. And because it's a big part of the book, when especially the first time that they go to the drag bar, and when they go there and they, you know, like they just do it so well in the movie. It's so well portrayed. I thought Jennifer Aniston, I thought her kind of cathartic change throughout the book. I cannot stop saying book in this movie review. I thought Jennifer Aniston's cathartic change throughout the movie was fantastic. You know, like I said, I'm not a lover of Jennifer Aniston. I think what's interesting is that one of the things I don't love about Jennifer Aniston is that I feel like she's very typecasted, and she never really changes her look or anything like that. And I thought that she played a very dramatic role, but from a humorous point of view, was so good it was so smart. She just did such a fantastic job in this that it really made me kind of fall in love with Jennifer Aniston in a different way, you know, that I saw her from a different point of view that I would never have seen her before. the standout performance of, like, scene in any movie was absolutely Willow Dean's talent. I sat and watched that scene 3 times in a row. I mean, I just could not believe how well done it was. I was so impressed. That is different than in the book. There were several scenes that were different in the book than in the movie. The way that the book ends is different than the movie, but I really appreciated the way that it ended in the movie. I actually liked the ending in the movie better than I liked the ending in the book. But the talent scene is so fantastic. And there were just little bits and pieces that were different, but I didn't mind it at all because I thought it was so well done. I don't know, everything from the costumes to the music to it was so perfect. And the thing is that it was interesting because I had just seen Danielle McDonald, play Willow Dean like 2 weeks ago when I watched Dumplin. And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking to myself, this movie is going to become very, very famous. And she's going to be known as Dumplin, as Willow Dean. Turn around, I watch Bird Box, and she's in Bird Box and can play a completely different character. And I think what it showed was, her depth as an actress. And I am a person that in books and movies, since I keep on referring to both, I am character driven. I love to watch people's stories unfold. I love plot, yes, but I'm really a person that can embrace a character and I fall in love with the character. And when I read the book Dumplin, I fell in love with Willow Dean. And when I watched the movie, I fell in love with her even more. And and if you haven't seen it, I do believe that you will too. She's such a fantastic character. She goes through this cathartic change, but it's not huge, And it's not like, it's a lot about weight issues, of which I've struggled with most of my life. And it's a lot about acceptance of that. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I'm not going to do what you want me to do because I love myself enough to know what's best for me. And that's what I love about it. The whole movie was so well done, from the music to the costumes to the setting. I thought the setting was perfect. I mean, it was exactly what I had imagined when I read the book. All of the characters were so well done in it. I had to look up the one girl because and I can't think of what her name is right now, but the one girl in the movie that was kind of punk rock, she was actually in the TV show The Killing that was on AMC. I think that's what it was, The Killing. And then she, that's now on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's a fantastic show, The Killing. She was so good in this movie. And she was very, very true to her character in the book. I have a hard time often when I read a book and then I see the movie. It sometimes kills it for me. And a good example of this is that Paper Towns by John Green is one of my all-time favorite books. But as a movie, I thought it was horrible. I thought it was, I didn't think it translated well at all. I didn't think they were able to show it. And as a person that loves books, I'm always afraid of that the movie is going to ruin it for me and then maybe I'll see it differently. Dumplin didn't do that. Dumplin made me fall in love with Willow Dean even more. And especially the characters, her mother and Millie and everybody else. I just thought it was so fantastically done. I thought it was such a heartfelt movie. It's a movie that I could watch over and over and over again. And I can't say that about many movies. So I gave the movie 4.95 stars. 4.95 stars. I thought it was fantastically done. It was so beautiful and I loved it. If you guys have seen it, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I will see you next time for a new review. Bye.